Hello and welcome back to the Brodeurland Show. I'm so glad you're here. Today's topic on the Brodeurland Show is self-motivation. That's right. Now, being motivated when somebody's pushing you forward, when somebody's cheering you on, hey, that's not too bad, right? I can do it. Somebody's telling me I can, right? But what happens when you're alone? Man, self-motivation, that can be difficult. And that's why I want to talk about self-motivation today. And to do so, I've got 3 topics lined up to really help us explore self-motivation and really dive a little bit deeper. The first topic today is self-motivation. It reminds us to stay positive and stand tall. Second, when you feel like quitting, hey, remember why you started in the first place. And third, in the roller coaster of life, self-motivation reminds us and pushes us to keep moving forward. Now, those are the topics we're going to explore today on self-motivation, but you know the drill here. We have to explore that Brodeurland definition for self-motivation. So, what are we waiting for? I'm ready to dive on in. Are you? So let's take a look at that Brodeurland definition right now. So the Brodeurland definition for self-motivation, it goes like this. You got to believe in yourself. You got to stay inspired, and you got to keep moving towards your goals in life despite any setbacks that you face as you go along this journey of life. Now that you know the Brodeurland definition for self-motivation, we got to really dive on in. We've got to really get our feet wet, explore self-motivation, and see how can I keep pushing myself forward, right? And to do so, I've got 3 quotes lined up that really explore, that really summarize and help us get a grasp of self-motivation so you can start using it in your own life and become that best version of yourself. So what are we waiting for? I'm ready to dive on in to our first quote right now. Our first quote today is by Brodeurland Definition, and Brodeurland says this: self-motivation keeps life in its positive path. No matter what people say or do to hurt or harm you, remember that being self-motivated will always give you the boost to stand above them all. It is so easy to be motivated when people are cheering you on, when you've got support, when people are right there calling your name. But here's the deal. You're not always going to have that support 24/7. I mean, that's just life. And sometimes in life, you get tested. Sometimes people test us, right? Sometimes people can bring us down, or we just have situations that just don't go our way. And that's why self-motivation is so important. You really got to find that confidence in yourself. And you really got to understand that no matter the failures, no matter the successes, no matter the praises or the criticisms that come from people, you've got to remember that you are somebody, that you're worthy, that you're capable, that you're smart, that you're strong, and that you can keep pushing forward with this self-motivation, with that confidence to push through and know, you know what? I'm going to do it. I'm going to stand tall, and I'm going to push through all of this so I can come out and become that best version of yourself. Now, that's just the beginning of self-motivation right there, but we've really got to dive into our second quote and learn what happens when I get things started, but I start to feel a little flat. Things don't always seem to be going good after a week or two. So let's dive into our second quote right now. Our second quote today goes like this. When you feel like quitting, think about why you started. A lot of times when we start that brand new goal, when we are ready to venture and really tackle something new in our lives, a lot of times we can really be excited. We have that hope. We have that energy. However, after a day, after a week, after a month, really trying to go through and try to tackle those goals, we can sometimes start to feel a little flat, right? We can start to feel like, man, am I really progressing? Maybe I'm hitting a couple bumps along the way, right? And we can feel a little deflated. Hey, don't worry about that. Don't let that bring you down. Stay positive. Remember why you started in the first place. Sometimes we have to go back to the beginning and go, okay, why am I doing this? Why do I got to keep pushing forward? And let that re-energize you. Let that motivate you. Let that remind you the importance of why you want to tackle this and why you want to keep moving forward. But you must never quit. Sometimes we got to replan. Sometimes we got to retool. Sometimes we got to tweak things and go in a different direction, and that's okay. But here's the deal. You're never done until you quit. Don't quit. Keep pushing forward. Keep your head up high. Keep those positive thoughts flowing through your brain so you can stay motivated and really feel confident and push on through. So here's the deal. we got one more quote left in this video to really tackle, to really digest right here, so we can really understand self-motivation and go out there and be self-motivated ourselves. So what are we waiting for? Let's dive on into this last quote right now. Our final quote today is by Martin Luther King Jr. and he says this: "If you can't fly, then run. If you can't run, then walk. If you can't walk, then crawl. But whatever you do, you have to keep moving forward." Life can be a little bit of a roller coaster, right? You've got your ups, you've got your downs. And a lot of times with your ups, you can find self-motivation a lot more easier because you feel good. You got a little bit of a spring to your step. You can see that success. You feel like you're making waves towards those goals. But here's the deal. We always have our downs. And a lot of times with our downs, we sometimes see self-motivation start to slip away. You can't let that happen. No, definitely not. You got to really dive on deep. And you know what? That's what this quote is really all about, is it's really about not making excuses and really finding ways to where you can keep marching forward, to where you can dig down deep, find that self-motivation, find that courage, find that power inside you to really stand on up, to see if you can walk when you feel like you can't, and really move forward so you can really find that power of self-motivation inside you, and you can become that best version of yourself. So always remember, you make each day a special day by just you being you. There's no one in the whole world like you except you, and I like you just the way you truly are. It's good that you exist, but you got to go out there. You got to be willing to be self-motivated. You've got to be willing to stand tall, push yourself forward, and know no matter what, you can find down deep inside why you started on your journey of life and those goals that you're trying to achieve. That way you can become that best version of yourself. So until next time, Brodeurland, peace.